Hey players, so today we're going to work on the hit sprites for the character. These are the sprites that play when a character is hit, or thrown, or falls over, or gets up, or is lying on the ground. So before that though, you'll want to add in your icon sprites in group 9000 index 0 and your portrait sprite in group 9000 index 1. Anyway, back to the group 5000. So here is a list of all the hit sprites. To find this, open up your MIGIN, type in docs and click SPR hit sprites, and this will open up a Google Chrome page. I already have one open, so I don't need that. So I'm going to shove this in my other monitor and get on with it. So first of all is group 5000 index 0, 10 and 20. This is for when your character is hit high while you're standing. So what hit high while standing means is that your upper body is slightly bent backwards, as if you've just been punched in the above your midsection basically, but not on your midsection or below. For the midsection or below, that'll be in the hit low while standing area. Pick sprites that are suitable for that. That looks like he's been hit. Recovering. Don't want to use that one. That'll work for low. Is that a duplicate sprite? Yeah, it is. Click this to increment it by 10 at a time, because we're working in tens. So it'll go from 0, 10 to 20, and not from 0, 1, 2, 3. Group 5000 is already in use because Kung Fu Man sprites are already there. So delete that. I already deleted most of them, but I forgot the group 5000s. It'll help if you remember the rough position of your waxes. So mine is 69, 69, 69, and now to organise them. This is as if he's being hit hard, so that should be 0, because you don't recover and then get hit. You get hit then recover. This is in pain, so this is, oh that's already 10, that's perfect. And this is recovering, so that's 20. And make sure the x-axis is lines, okay. For 0 you should be a little further back, because he's just been hit. 10 should be a little back as well. That's perfect. Now, group 5001 index 0, 10 and 20 are the same, but you align it to your midsection. What that means is that, well, it's easier to show you. So when you're doing this, and aligning to your midsection or head, what you can do is, I usually duplicate the sprite itself and just move it there manually, but if you select the sprite, insert it, and click this, what this will do is it will align it to your midsection. So it will find the centre of your sprite by dividing the height by 2, and it will align it to that Y position, which does it for us. So like this, but I don't need that, because what I'm going to do is click the duplicate button and change group 5000 to 5001 and move the Y-axis down to whatever the height divided by 2 is, or you can just move it manually like somebody who's not a nerd would do. And now we go to group 5000 index 1, duplicate that, change this to 5001. The original's here just in case you didn't catch that. And for group 5000 index 20, duplicate 5001 20 34. Now this is a little confusing at first. I have been there and it seems like it's, you feel dumb just looking at this and not understanding, unless you do understand it, in which case I think an idiot. But it took me about 4 characters to get this down. Until then I watched Ryan Persaud's tutorial over and over again until I got the gist of exactly what to do. Anyway, for group 5002 we do the same but align it to the head. Group 5001 duplicate group 5002 and move it to the head. So that's 15 and around 32. 5001 duplicates change to 5002.
So small, I look like a beefy house cat. I belong on your TV.
And of course the same for group 5001, duplicate that, 5002. Just going to do this manually. Now for the next part, group 5010 index 0, 10 and 20 are when you're hit low, not hit high. So like I mentioned before, we were using the sprites where our upper body was taking damage, now we're using the sprites that look like our lower body is taking damage, like this sprite here. This sprite here is quite good. Well, actually that's hit while crouching, I'm not going to use that, so save your crouching sprites for when you're hit while crouching. Yeah, I'll use this though, because that's slightly above crouching. I don't really give a... No, that's fine, I'll just duplicate that again. So 5010, and whatever your y-axis is, and this button here. So, and that's completely wrong now because he's crouching. Okay, 5010. 0, 10, this is the wrong way around, so I want this to be 0, this to be 10. I'm going to organise my sprites. Huh. I must have selected that twice. I'm going to move this up a little because he's not crouching, I don't want him to look like he's crouching. No, actually for the first, I'm going to duplicate this, so the first one I'm going to make it so he's lower. And now it looks like a completely different sprite because I'm going to move this one up so that he's getting hit and then recovering. It'll play so fast that you won't even notice it's the same sprite. And like before, duplicate 5010 0 and change this to 5011 0. Move it to the midsection, so 25 for me. Duplicate 5010, index 10. And duplicate 5010, index 20. Change to 11. Remember to reorganise your sprites frequently so you don't confuse yourself, especially when you're just getting started with this. And for 5020, which is our next section, this is when we're hit while crouching, which is why I didn't use the most bent over sprite because I wanted to save that. I'll probably use all three of these actually. So 5020. Not even going to bother putting in a axis because it'll be completely wrong. 5020, 0, 10, 20. So this is like he's being hit hard. Could move this down because he's crouching. I'm actually going to enable onion skin for this one, so changing that to 0. My mouse keeps freezing, it's bugging me, but yeah, that'll be 20, and this will be 10. I don't want to look too similar to the Hitler sprites. So next is 5030. It starts to get a little bit more complex here. Find some sprites where your character is basically flying backwards. I'm going to use the hit hard because he's kind of bending backwards a lot, which will work well. Then I'm going to pick these sprites. Yeah, no, I want to use this one. No, that's the same sprite, I can't use it twice. Well, I can, but... Okay, we've got 5030, 0, and 16 for these just to make it a little bit easier. And it's completely wrong, should have known. So align that to where you would be if you're flying, well, like Kung Fu Man. Just organise them as you would. So here I have Suna being hit hard, then flying backwards, kind of shaking a little in the air because of the turbulence or whatever. And then he's just lying in midair, although that's completely, you shouldn't be using that sprite at all, so it's nobody will notice. Now duplicate all of these and change them from grip 5030 to 31 and align them to your midsection. 10, duplicate to 31, align to your midsection. I'm going to stop speaking out loud because eventually I'll trip over my own tongue in confusion more than help you, so you know the drill at this point. Assuming this tutorial's been coherent enough for it to be followed. I actually recorded this before, but it turned out it wasn't recording the audio, and in between ulcers and a cold. Okay. And do the same for grip 5032, align it to your head. Now this is vertical and horizontal, remember, so it's similar to 5031, but with 5032 it's to the right, so that your head's in the crosshair. Organise your sprites and check that everything looks nice and smooth. Next is grip 5040. Next is grip 5040. 5040 index 0 is when you're falling and hitting the ground. So you look like you're, I wouldn't say upper half because how you're falling depends on your sprite sheets. But for this I'm going to use this sprite to show that it's upper half of the body hitting the ground first. So whatever works with your previous sprites for 5030 to 5032. And 5040 index 10 is lying down on the ground. Index 20 is hit while lying down on the ground, so if you're being beat down while on the ground in a throw or something, they'll use 10, 20, 10, 20 to make like you're taking a beating like my Josuke Higashikata does. Anyway, so this will be 0 for us, well me sorry. 10 is when you're lying down on the ground, so not quite your death sprites. So grip 5040, increment in 10s, it's aligned to heads for me by default. Now this is 5040, 5041 will be aligned to midsection, so if you're wondering where to align it slightly above the line. For 5041 we'll be moving it on the line, so that clears that up. Remember to look at other characters for reference. Kung Fu Man himself is a little bit weird with these sprites, so you might want to use the latest Kung Fu Man, which is nicer sprites in my opinion, but yeah, it looks right. Now 5041, duplicate and move down. Not a bad time, because you're still hitting the same ground. And for grip 5042, do the same thing as before, but not only is it slightly down as opposed to 5040, or parallel if you're using 5041 to duplicate, just move it slightly to the right so that your head is in the crosshair, or whatever that's called. I guess we're not shooting them, so it should be called the cross. And organise your sprites, make sure it looks correct. For 5060, this only goes from 0 to 10, there's no 20. Same with 5061, 5060. 5060 index 0 is hit up, head pointed up, body vertical, like when you're being juggled into the air. And 506010 is head pointed down, body vertical, is when you're falling down. It's better just to show you, isn't it? Now you probably won't have the up to then sprite, so what we're going to do is open the sprite we're using. We're going to use an Earthman view. I'm going to use this sprite. Probably not the best. So image, vertical flip, and I'm going to give it a horizontal flip as well. And file, save as, don't know why the icons are so large. Fall down, and we have a new sprite. So 5060, 0, 10, and align it to where your feet would be, and they're in the wrong order. Where your feet would be standing, yeah, it's correct. So 5070 is thrown, so we don't really have any good sprites for that, so I'm going to flip some sprites round so that it looks like it's being pulled backwards instead. Remember, you don't always want to follow an example, you want your characters to have some originality, so feel free to use other characters as examples and use them as a rough template until you figure out what works. Or you can test it, and, well, it's actually going to be tricky to test. Oh, what's annoying. Flat 2. And I want something where he's being something in between those two. Yeah, it kinda works. Image, horizontal flip, flip 3. Now, you'll be glad to hear these are the last sprites, so this tedious and confusing process is almost over. I hate it too. Well, that looks better than expected. Well, just make sure it's aligned correctly, so Pumpkin is kind of leaning forward and then slowly aligns himself to where his chest is. So, where the Simp's going to step forward a little bit. That should be about right. Okay. Now for 5071, we do the same but align to midsection. So 5071 align to midsection. 507110 align to midsection. My mouse is freezing like every second, so it's gonna be it's not the battery, it's just I got a bad mouse, so much for Logitech, am I right? Not Bang, it was the Logitech design. 5072 is aligned to head. For those of you that pick things up fast, you're probably wanting me to shut up a bit now. But organise your sprites and check that they're all in order. I know I made a lot of mistakes when I first did this, I missed a lot of sprites and such, but you can't actually be flipping all over the place when you flip through them. Now, before we do anything else, I want to quickly show you palettes. So, Kung Fu doesn't really show this well because he's like no palette, but what we're going to do is slide through your sprites. You'll see that this number here changes when you go from your main sprite sheet to other sprites. All our palettes from 1 to 12 will be group 1, index 1, up to 12. So save your palette here in your Mugen chars folder, Suna, and save it as pal1.act, or save it as whatever you want to call it. Now we're going to edit it. Let's get on with it. So I'm going to try and edit his flame colour, but the problem is he's a lot of flames and I don't want to edit these flame colours, I just want to edit the flame in his head. Because these are sun flames, I want to like make it rain flames or something, or his zero flame mode or whatever, which negates... I'll get into the nerdy stuff, but anyway. So you highlight colours by clicking the colour select and clicking whatever colours you want to change. And this will highlight them here. If you select something you don't want to, you can shift right click to deselect. Left clicking will deselect everything, we don't want that. And then you can change the hue saturation, which hue changes the colour drastically through all the colours in the rainbow and more. And saturation drains the life out of colours like leaves in autumn, or it adds more colour to it. Or you can change the red, green, blue sliders to, for example, make it more yellow or more pink. Now I'm going to move this to blue and then move the sliders down a little bit, add a little bit more green, a little bit more red. Sometimes the saturation and hue have less effect, especially when you mess with these. I guess I will have to use these colours then, so I'm going to select all of these. And it will apply the changes to all of them. Now, this doesn't look like a very good palette now, but if you select something you don't want to, just right click that colour. Okay, now don't click this button here. What this will do is it will overwrite palette 1, so what we want to do is save our palette to a new file and call it Pea 2. And now we close this, or you can just reopen it and keep editing it, but what I'm going to do now is open up a palette from file, pal2.act, and change that to group 1, index 2. And now I'm going to switch. So I'm going to deselect switch to sprite palette so that we can see what palette 2 looks like. Now the reason I'm doing this is because some sprites will use different colours than others, as you might have seen just there. These are different colours of red and orange, so what I'm going to do is do the same for these. Now this can be very tedious, but it will pay off. If your character is hard to edit, or they have like a black suit like Sanji or Suna, you don't want to make any drastic changes like making like the black white, because chances are the suit is the same black colour as your character's border. Like so. Don't do this, it looks awful. It should be roughly the same as long as I follow the same process. That's very effective. No, it's got to flames need life. Okay. And commit changes to current palettes. Okay, I must have messed up there. I didn't mess up, it's just because I haven't changed it yet. Sorry, I'm spending too long on this anyway. That should be roughly correct. Click through that and there's some more. Now this is where things can get tricky. Often when there's a pure white colour, this will change the character's eye. Don't mess with that too much unless you know that it won't, because that can suck. I'm actually just going to change the here for that. Use the sliders. Yeah, that's right. How many red colours are there? I should have just... Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to click these colours here, select all the ones that look very red. And that one's a little iffy, but... and change them manually to... Okay. Was that everything? Oh, it was. Perfect. Now, you have to admit it looks pretty good. So we can flip through palette 1 and 2. Now I'm going to change this back to switch to sprite palette, and that will change it to whatever palette it actually is, and not the one we had on. So now we have a nice palette too. So what we can do is, that will have updated the file, and we press this, it updates this, and your these are actually separate. Even if you delete your file palette, it will still be recorded here, so this won't vanish. So, but it will update both of them, so no need to worry about that. We're going to go into our definitions file here, and I can't remember the formatting this. I'm going to open Zorro, just do what I do because you might only have Kung Fu Man. Yeah, so it's like this PAL 1, PAL 2, PAL 3. I'm going to put the PAL defaults as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It doesn't really matter. Remove the space here. PAL 1 equals PAL 1.act. PAL 2 equals PAL 2.act. Save. No. And what I'm going to do here is go into Tools, Options, Mugen, Edit, and change Kung Fu Man to Suna. And what this will do is it will use as soon as, because we're already using palette 1 for our character, it will use palette 2 instead. Pretty smart way to test palettes. And we don't have AI yet, so it won't. God, this is lagging like heck. It looks pretty good. We're phasing for each other because we haven't set our. I should probably change the suit colour as well. That one was already naturally blue, so. But anyway, that wraps up for this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and next time we will work on our first attack, so that'll be fantastic, and add the sounds as well. Yeah, we'll add the sounds first, because we want to get that organised. Anyway, thanks for watching.